Okay. Okay. So I have the music pulled up on my computer. Um, I'm gonna start with new era, the first opening on the whatchamacallit. So I imagine the first place you're gonna have difficulty is that note right there. That is a half note, right? And the little Z at the top indicates it as a buzz. So sometimes at this tempo, we're probably gonna play it as a triplet. But sometimes when you play a buzz roll, you play it as 16 notes. But it's not specified, so we'll just see what's said later. For now, we're gonna stick with 16 note buzzes, unless otherwise stated in the music. There'll be there'll be little markings above. Sometimes there are words and all this other stuff. Yeah. I imagine the first real difficulty you have is here. And I know this makes no sense, but it's note values, right? Instead of right now, what this is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and right. The fourth beat is silent, so they're quarter notes, right? There's 3 quarter notes, and then there's 2 eighth notes, which completes the 4/4 bar, right? So because it's 1, 2, 3, and then they place a quarter note value after the eighth note. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, and because it's a quarter note, it takes up 2 eighth note values, right? So it's basically 1, 2, 3, and 4, and had that been an eighth notes, right? If this was an eighth note, then in front of it would be an eighth note rest, just like right there. So this bar is just 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then these are eighth note rests. This will be played as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and as an eighth note split, right? Then going back to the second line, it's the note values apply to all of this. You'll see it's repeated right here. It's just 1, 2, 3, and 4, and into whatever downbeat it may be, if no downbeat, right? Well, probably don't know what a downbeat is. A downbeat is known as the flat part of not a flat part. Basically 1, 2, 3, or 4 in a measure. That's downbeat. Upbeat is anything that isn't 1, 2, 3, and 4, like 1 and, or the and of 1, and of 2. In 16 note terms, the second partial, which would be when E, they're known as partials. However, they're set up. So let's take a look right here, just in case this is hard to understand right here and right here. This is 3 and a 4E and a, and then this is 3 and 4E, 2E and 3E and, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's how it works. So basically, right? Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Whenever the note is a line as such, like this, or this, or this, or like down here, we'll talk about that when we get there. Sorry. It's known as a, what are they called? It's basically a note that everybody on the bass line will play. So like right here, and if it had been only one, like say bass 1 or 2 buzzing on that roll, then it would just be a buzz note on the spaces. But since it's a line, everybody plays that buzz roll right there. And then going down here, these are just some kind of cool splits. They'll sound good once we hear them. Dun, 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 dun. You know what I mean? Here, it's the same thing as the note values that were up here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? The and of 2 is silent, so it's just da, 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 da. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Right? And then here is a dotted quarter note, right? I think this video is getting long, I'm sorry. This is a dotted quarter note, right? So a dotted quarter, whenever you add a dot to a note, it adds on half of the note's original value. So if you put a dot onto a half note, which is 2 beats, that half note will turn into 3 beats, right? That should make sense. So had you put a dot onto a quarter note, that quarter note will turn into a beat and a half, or in other words, three eighth notes. So here it'd be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So it's just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? So 4 and the end of 4 are silent. The first beat is silent, and 1 and 2 and the end of 2 is silent. And then into the 1 and 2 and 3 and has 16th note, so it'd be, right? Not at tempo, of course, but that's how it would sound. And then the 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, as the entire line plays there. I forget what those notes are called. And then down here, when you see an X on a note, that represents a rim click or rim shot, depending on the instrument you play. So in this case, also pay attention to the stickings. I'm sorry, there's so much to go over. The stickings right there, right, left, right, left, right. So R, L, L, R, L, L. Had we played that right here, it'd be, oh, I can't. Basically, like, right, left, left, right, left, right. Or 1 and 2 and 3 and, right? Yeah. And then we call the grand triplets eighth note triplets. It's just 3 beats. 3 notes over the span of 2 beats. So we just do like grand triplet to fill a whole bar. So that's just a triplet eighth note split. So it'd be dun dun dun, right? Dun 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 dun. And then when it goes into here, right here, it's the grand eighth note triplets with the eighth note as the last triplet partial. It's kind of weird, but it's basically just grand triplet. So it's even space, even the spacings in it, and it's grand triplet. Into the next beat, grand triplet, triplet, right? And then the 4s, which are just splits, 4 notes per note here, is why they're labeled with a roll. And then some 8th note splits. This kind of cool passage to the 1E and 2E and 3, or I guess 1E and 2E and click, click, and then same thing repeated. Right here is another dotted, that is a dotted 8th note. So that's adding on 1 16th note partial onto an 8th note. So this note's value is 1E and the last note at the end is an So it'd be like 1 and 2, 3, 4, or 4E and A1, if that makes sense. 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 3, 4E and A1. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm sorry this video is so long.